support. Any way we can repay you? Got some discretionaries we could transfer your way. Thanks again for the backup.
Raptors are as majestic as a
You
valley.
are entering United Colony space. Maintain course and prepare to be scanned. Scan complete. You're cleared to land at New Homestead.
New Homestead, eh? This place hasn't changed much since the 2100s.
Careful, there are some dangers here.
Interesting. The last thing I expected to stumble across at this type of settlement is a museum. Might be worth a look around.
Enjoy your visit. This is a boring assignment, but let's keep it that way.
Don't want to get hurt or sick around here. Dr. Lakota really doesn't care for tourists. Wish someone could convince her otherwise. The people here live a simple life. Try not to complicate it. We take vandalism seriously here. You don't mess with history. Hello.
I'm learning. Boy, am I glad they have a chunks here.
Feel free to look around, but do not
It's so
touch.
cold here. I guess I should have expected that. More brownouts. I thought we were done with that. Oh, hello there. Are you here about the brownouts? That's usually the only reason people come up here to talk to me, since I'm the power system manager here. Oh. Yep, I get it all right. Yes, I'm in charge of the electrical power here. We generate a lot of wind-based power here on Titan, which is my specialty, so I was tapped to help navigate all the unique challenges we face here. Shocking, I know. Oh, well, that's refreshing. What did you want to chat about? Well, I just started this job a few months ago, but I'm loving it, despite all the small frustrations of working on ancient equipment. I came here as a child and did one of the tours. I loved it so much, I jumped at the chance to come back after finishing my studies in energy science. I know it may sound unusual, but I knew what I was getting into with Titan's harsh surface. The challenge is actually one of the things that attracted me to the job. No, New Atlantis, born and raised. It's okay though. I've always liked this quaint little moon. Not that it's actually that little as far as moons go. The people here were a little wary of someone coming in from the outside, but once I changed my name in accordance with their local customs, it went a long way to build trust. And that was fine by me. I feel proud, taking on the name of the Earth City my family came from many, many years ago. Did you see those huge wind turbines out there on your way in? They're our primary source of power generation. Titan's strong winds provide an almost constant source of power, as long as we can keep the machinery from icing over. Oh, I thought you said this wasn't about the brownouts. Oh well. Since you're asking, I'm a little new to the job, and I'll admit I'm struggling a little bit. I could use some help. So I really want to impress everyone and show them I can handle this. But the power equipment is ancient and in need of replacement, if I'm being honest. We just don't have the money in the budget right now to do it. The previous technician was adamant that it was better to repair than replace. So he never submitted any replacement plans for budget considerations. We have to wait for next year. I could use someone who's handy with a laser cutter to break up the ice that's formed on some of the power system machinery out there. That should clear up the shorts we've been experiencing and stop the brownouts. Does that sound like something you can do? Oh, thank you. I guess I'm lucky you showed up then. Just be careful not to hurt yourself or the equipment. I'll continue to monitor things from here. I'm really glad you're helping us out. I need you to remove the ice that's preventing the power equipment from working properly and causing these brownouts. I'd suggest using a cutter to remove the ice, since it's pretty thick. You'll find the wind turbines and power transformers in the field nearby. Can't miss them. See you.
question about the, food.
Welcome to Chunks.
Sure thing.
Please choose your chunks.
Do people on other worlds really eat this stuff? I mean, I'm no stranger to processed protein, but this is... Well, it's like eating the packaging the protein comes in. I don't see what the appeal is.
Chunks in for everyone, I guess. But I'll tell you, this is the most popular food in the settled system. They must be doing something right.
Maybe it's just me then. Oh well. Or for everyone else. It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like. Sure would be nice to get off-world sometime.
Word of advice, steer clear of the doctor here.
Hello there. Are you here to peruse our little museum exhibit? Wonderful. These are all rare artifacts from before the collapse of Earth. There isn't much of this stuff left outside of private collections, but here we're happy to share a glimpse of them with the public. If you have any questions about the exhibit or New Homestead, I'm happy to answer as best as I can. It's an interesting story. New Homestead began as a scientific research base called the Titan Astrobase, back when space travel was in its infancy. The hope was that humanity would be able to discover simple alien life here given the moon's composition and water supply. When that ultimately failed, it was repurposed as a colony research base, where scientists and engineers studied how to build colonies on inhospitable worlds. Then, finally, when gravity drives were commonplace and we started finding Earth-like planets, New Homestead was born as a living history community to preserve that past. When our early colonists learned of Earth's demise, they decided to take on the names of their cities of origin as a way to remember their heritage. Now, some may have been lost in translation over the years, and some may have taken it more seriously than others, but the names are mostly accurate. For instance, my family comes from the city of Lyon, in a country that was called France. I am Maurice Lyon, and I am the community elder. As the oldest living citizen at 96, my only job is to keep Earth history alive. I tell stories to the young people and the visitors from other worlds. Although my memory isn't what it used to be, I try my best to get the stories right. Sure, I'd love to. There was once a war, so big that they say all of the world was involved. This was actually the second time it happened. They fought because a terrible man named Hitler rose to power and slaughtered many innocents. Millions were lost. Even the colony war pales in comparison. Why, certainly. It's what I do. There was a time when huge monstrosities called dinosaurs ruled over Earth. long before humans existed. They were similar to some of the larger life forms you might see elsewhere in the settled systems. Their reign ended when I can never remember if it was a comet, an asteroid, or a meteor that hit the Earth. Whatever it was, it nearly wiped out most of the life at that time. Let me think of a good one. A long time ago, thousands of years, humans built a wall so large it spanned the northern length of one of Earth's largest empires, China. They called it the Great Wall of China, and it was meant to keep out invading hordes. If I recall correctly, it didn't always work as well as they had hoped. I'll have to look it up again. Memory's not what it once was. Of course, certainly. We have several items in our collection that we rotate in and out over time, but they all originate from the same place, Earth. We have everything from toys to antique technology to sports memorabilia. We even used to have an old Earth vehicle, but we had to sell it when we ran out of space for it. Most of our collection was donated by fellow Earth enthusiasts and historians who felt it belonged close to the homeland here in the Sol system. I apologize. Could you speak up? Take care.
Did you see those wind turbines out
It's
there?
been a while since I last.
I can't believe the junks here ran out of special sauce again.
Hey there!
Sounded like
You
that
brought a
guy would pay
healthy
someone to
thirst
get
for
it for him.
history. Why, hello there! I'm Bill Starsap of Starsap Tours. Let me tell you, this place is full of history and interesting facts. For instance, did you know that New Homestead was one of the first colonies established outside of Earth? It's been populated in some capacity for over 200 years.
Maybe I need to look up more about it.
I knew you were a fellow history buff. Well, tell you what, you come along on one of my little tours, and I guarantee you'll learn something you didn't know before. So what do you say? I've got an opening. I could take you on a tour right now if you'd like. Excellent! You won't regret it. My tours are one of a kind. Now, there's just the matter of price. The going rate for a genuine Starsap tour is only 100 credits. Well, 100 credits is very reasonable, I think. That's okay. This tour isn't for everyone, I know that, but my price is fair, and I think it's well worth the money. No one's forcing you to go on it. I assure you it wasn't intentional. I really should have been upfront about the price. I thought maybe you saw one of the flyers. Maybe I could do something for you. This isn't getting us anywhere. Sorry, but that's the price, and I'm not willing to go any lower right now. So what'll it be? Well. Stop trying to confuse me! There's nothing. That's what I'm hoping. Tell you what, I like you. This one's on the house, but if you enjoyed the tour, I'd really appreciate if you'd tell all your friends about me when it's done. So let's get this show on the road, eh? All right, so this is New Homestead's main concourse. This underground area didn't exist when the original outpost, Titan Astro Base, was finished in 2130. Follow me, we'll come back here by the end of the tour and talk about the museum collection. First, let's go see where people live. Now remember, these people
actually
aren't
live like
actors. They actually live here, so try to be respectful of that. While the original inhabitants of the Titan Astro Base lived in pods like you saw up above, they transitioned down here when this section of the base was finished in 2144. Space is extremely limited, so you'll notice some overflow here.
Do you have a spaceship?
But more residences also exist on lower
so
levels,
cool.
which are inaccessible to tours. I'll stop at each of our destinations if you want to look around, or if you have any questions for me. Have any questions so far? I'm not sure the exact count, but New Homestead is a fairly small colony. What you see is what you get for the most part, except for some other people who live in the private lower levels. Some, particularly security, and yours truly, even commute from other worlds. The original Titan Astro Base had more habitation pods on the surface connected to some of the old structures you may have seen in the back. As the colony grew, the base was expanded underground, and those hab units were recycled into materials used down here. Sadly, it's difficult to get additional construction done inside these underground caverns. So for now, additional populations are housed in these stacks of old shipping crates. As you might expect, this is where some of the less wealthy can afford to live. It's not glamorous, but they are functional and cozy. Oh, sure, I'll be here waiting. The locals love to talk with tourists, but they'll let you know if they're busy. So please respect them.
I kind of want to try food from that Chunks place, but my papa says it's just a bunch of junk food. That's way more awesome wherever you come from than it is here. It's always so cold. I can't wait to go away on my learning vacation when I grow up.
I'll treat you if you need it, but please try to be more careful around here. Great! Another tourist. Let me guess. You slipped on the ice and need a doctor to wrap your sprained ankle? They do, but they're also a terrible burden for a small colony doctor like myself. I have enough trouble treating our own people with the time and resources I have. Maybe. I'm sorry if it sounded harsh. I'm just frustrated. However, I think if you walked a mile in my shoes, you'd probably feel the same. Anyway, what can I do for you? Even though we don't have shiny new medical facilities, I imagine it's easier than wherever you're from. We have fewer people here. and we're very responsible when it comes to our personal health and welfare. So there's not much I can't handle. For anything else, we can get access to off-world specialists. Contrary to popular belief, we're not primitive. It's a harsh world, but as long as you're inside or wear a suit when going out, you'll be fine here. There's no breathable air on the surface, and you'll quickly freeze to death outside without protective gear, but otherwise the hazards are minimal. New Homestead was an early colony research base and has stood the test of time. It's safe, and it's proof that people can live pretty much anywhere. Don't worry so much. I don't. They make a mockery of New Homestead culture. And on top of it, they're reckless. It's like I said before, I feel like I'm treating them more often than our own people. Everything okay? All set? The problem is that most of the tourists' injuries are from preventable accidents. Things our people know how to avoid. And often I have to take care of them first because they can't leave with their injuries, so I have to put off seeing my regular patients. So not only am I working extra hard for people who have little respect for me, it comes at the expense of our own. Actually, maybe there is. I have an idea that may be best suited for someone relatively unknown, instead of myself. I've got a mountain of work and a reputation to maintain. So I bought a realistic monster costume. The plan was to wear it, scare tourists away, and start a rumor about terrible creatures living on Titan. I figure that once word gets around, tourism will take enough of a dive to give me some relief. That's the spirit. To be honest, I'm not sure it'll work either, but I feel like there's no harm in trying. Here's the costume. I think this will work best on the surface, so just find a group and run up to them, acting like a convincing alien monster. With any luck, they'll run screaming and book the next flight out of here. you take one of those stupid tours, make sure to follow the rules. They're for your own safety and my sanity.
You off-worlders have it made. Oh, you don't really want to talk to me. I'm just a nobody from the crates. Besides, I'm not really good at talking to tourists about New Homestead. If you're really interested in our history, talk to Maurice. He's a lot better at that than I am. I feel like it sometimes. I don't have many friends, and I'm struggling to stay in my undergrad program. It feels like I'm never going to get out of here and make a name for myself. Anyway, if we're going to talk, maybe we should talk about something else. It's not as bad as you'd think. I like talking to off-worlders, especially people my age. It gives me ideas for what I want to do when I'm done with school. Because, honestly, I'm not sure I want to stay here. It'll always be my home, but as soon as I can afford to, I'd love to explore my options. Well, I'm trying to finish up my undergrad schooling, actually. I want to be a physicist like my grandmother. Then, who knows what. But I also do some odd jobs here or there for money. Sometimes I help Jay out at his shop, and he gives me stuff in return. Sometimes I help Anya clean up at the Brown Horse when she's short-staffed. That sort of thing. The crates are what we call the living quarters for the poor people, like me. They're made from old shipping containers. We have to make do with the space we have here. They're comfortable enough, I guess. And no one on Titan is well off to begin with, but you can tell that people look down on us, especially some of the tourists. Okay, well, no. Not the studies specifically. Like, I get good grades when I'm able to apply myself. But I'm poor. I just don't have the kind of money to be a full-time student and support myself. Even living in the cheap-ass crates. I keep having to take odd jobs just to put food on my plate. And when I do, my grades suffer. I just feel like I'll be stuck in a rut forever. What? Really? I don't know what to say. This is beyond kind of you. I mean, I don't even know you, but... Wow. Thank you.
I'm pleased that you realize the importance of a decent education. Actually, yes, I do. Here you are. Bye-bye.
Those folks in Sidonia may be closer to Earth, but we do a better job preserving its traditions.
Ready to head out there? Or did you still need time on your own? Still looks like you have someone else who needs you first. Like I said, finish.
Off-worlders always ask how I can live here. I wonder how they can live anywhere else. I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over at the Brown Horse.
Well, hey there. Nice long rest, eh?
I don't mind the tourists. They help the local economy.
If you need medical attention, see Dr. Lakota. But a word of warning, she really doesn't care for tourists. You get used to the methane problem. Lots of history here if you're into that sort of thing.
Hey.
Have any questions so far? Alrighty. We'll be taking the residential elevator to the farms area on the surface level. This way, please. Let's leave these good people alone for now and go check out the farms. Follow me up the elevator.
Don't stay outside for too long here on Titan. New Homestead is a living history exhibit, but these are real people.
Hi there. Always nice
We
to
used
see
to get
your
more
face.
tourists than we do these days.
Hi there. Always nice seeing a new face.
Off-worlders always ask how I can live here. I wonder how they can live anywhere else. We used to get more tourists than we do these days.
You get used to the methane processing smell after a while.
New Homestead's farms are the beating heart of the colony. Without them, the original outpost would have shriveled and died. These pods are sealed and climate controlled, the perfect environment for growing the hydroponic vegetation needed for survival in the early days of the colony.
We were learning about Jemison in my class the other day. Can we go there sometime?
Any questions about the farms? Good question. It's largely the same, because this was the colony that pioneered the techniques you see elsewhere. But you'll notice that the farms here are smaller and staffed by humans, not robots. Things here are a little more old-fashioned compared to some of the large factory farms you'll find elsewhere in the settled systems. These days, it's a mix of what you find elsewhere in the galaxy, but in the olden days, it was all brought over from Earth. It was a lot of hardy root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, beets, and such, supplemented with corn, peas, green beans, soy, etc., which didn't always grow as well. Oh, they are indeed. Colonists still cultivate plant-based food for their own consumption here in New Homestead. It's less vital to their survival these days, as they also import supplemental food from other colonies, including meats, dairy, and synthetics. However, most citizens here take pride in a New Homestead-grown, sustainable diet. By all means, go right ahead. Feel free to talk to the farmers, but I ask you respect their privacy and don't bother them too much. After all, they are on the job. Come back and let me know when you're ready to move on.
I always wonder what it's like where other people come from. Hello? I'm not really supposed to talk with tourists, but I kind of want to anyway. And I don't think my papa is paying attention. You're not going to tell him, are you? It's just my daddy, really. My mama's okay with it. But, oh, fine. If you don't wanna, I get it. But, I love talking with tourists, so I'll be here if you still want to talk. I think it's pretty fun. And I get to be around my mama and my papa all day, so that's cool. They say we all have to work a little, because it takes all of us to make the community work. Just like on Earth a really, really, really long time ago. Someday, I think it'd be cool to see other places and do other things, but this is fine for now. My mama says it's because he thinks we'd up and leave if we found out about the rest of the worlds out there. But I keep telling him, I love it here, and I love him, and I would never leave him. He doesn't believe it. He says the kids almost always want to leave when they grow up. But not me. Nope. I just want to visit somewhere else. Maybe. Not really. There's some, though. Most are around my age. We all go to school in the same room. I don't know. I've never been to any other schools. We mostly learn about the history of the solar system and Earth and stuff like that until we get old enough to go on our learning vacation. That's when we get to leave to go to school somewhere else for a few years, or travel and visit other worlds, try out jobs and stuff. Oh, I can't wait. Let me know if you have any other questions.
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like. To me, it's just how we live. Boy, I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over at the Brown Horse. Those folks in Sidonia may be closer to Earth, but we do a better job preserving its traditions.
No disrespect, but I'd appreciate if you let me and my family.
Thanks for taking the time to talk with me.
Sure would be nice to get off-world sometime. I don't mind the tourists. They help the local economy.
Any questions about the farms? Onward it is! We'll be stopping by the Brown Horse Tavern later in the tour, which uses many of these locally sourced ingredients in their cooking. But for now, it's just a short way to our next stop. Follow me! So, the old biolabs are just on the other side of this building, believe it or not. We'll step on through the hallway there. They're not in use anymore, but the colony has faithfully recreated them as a historical exhibit, true to the original purpose of the Titan Astrobase. Sadly, they're undergoing some light renovation. Otherwise, there'd be interactive activities for kids to learn about how they used to search for microbial life here. Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about the old Titan Astrobase biolabs. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot to mention that. That's what this place was originally called. When NASA divested its interest in the Astrobase and turned it over to the people back in 2185, they renamed it New Homestead and established it as a historical site. Funny you should ask. Sadly, none. See, NASA funded the Titan Astrobase project because conditions seemed ripe for primordial life to form in Titan's methane pools. They tested many different sites, performed deep core ice drilling, and more, yet nothing turned up. Well, NASA defunded the xenobiology program in 2132, but a scientist by the name of Catherine Neely proposed research into advanced colony building on inhospitable worlds. So, by 2135, work began on what would ultimately set us all up to create habitats anywhere humans dared to explore. These very labs housed the computer systems used in that research. That and general storage for the colony. Lots of storage. Sure thing. Keep in mind the Biolabs exhibit is closed for visitors, but I'll be waiting if you need a minute anyway.